Hello, hello, it's Bernadette. Oh, of course. I always get messages, I swear, every time I come on live. So, welcome. It's Bernadette. I wanted to answer some questions and share with you guys some really exciting developments in the business and where things are headed for me and what I'm doing with my healing services. We've got a lot going on this month, and I have been really busy for the last few months, so I haven't been on live stream, but I am here. I'm here now. Hello. Say hello when you get here. We have been posting video shorts like reels and stuff like that. I might look tired, and there goes my dogs, but it's been a long day. I've been working since 7:30 this morning, and it is now 8 o'clock. So you can imagine how tired I am. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Richard. I'm going to share this into our group. The reason I decided, even though I am very tired, to come on tonight is because I'm getting a ton of questions on a post I made about biomagnetic therapy or pairs therapy, biomagnetic pairs therapy. So I thought, you know what, rather than answering everybody like individually, because I'm tired and I want to go lay down, I'm going to do this on live stream. And I wanted to say hello to you guys. So I'm here to answer questions, but let me explain. It's so amazing how spirit works. So some of you know, some of you don't, if you haven't been following me long. Some of you know that I have a machine that I've been using since 2001 called a QXCI machine. And I used to have two offices when I lived in Colorado, one in Durango and one in Bayfield. And there was a bunch of FDA stuff that went around trying to confiscate machines. So I kind of went into hiding with it, closed my offices, even though I had a thriving practice and only dealt with clients that knew me. Not that I stopped doing healing work. I do hands-on, and I have my own modality called Sarvatva, which is super powerful in its own right. But I like going after the things that cause imbalances in the body, which lead to disease, right? Pathogens, viruses, parasites. If you followed me for any amount of time, y'all know I talk about parasite cleanses and all of that. But bacteria, fungus, all those things that throw the body balance off. So my machine, it's a frequency machine, biofeedback, bioresonance machine, and it's run on a computer with software. My computer system that it runs on is XP. And y'all know how old Windows XP Pro is. I upgraded the software. The last time was 2015, but I upgraded it from 2001 software to 2006 software. Apparently, you can only run it so many times and for so many years before it deactivates automatically. The last time it deactivated in 2015, there was a woman who kindly helped me with upgrading the software. It didn't cost me that much, a few $100s, and gave me the codes to do it. I did it. Today, it deactivated after, and I'll explain this, after I'd already taken all the training level 1 and level 2 for biomagnetism. In any case, so weird how spirit works, because for months now, a couple of years now, I haven't really wanted to work with the machine because my computer's falling apart. Literally, I have keys missing that don't work anymore, that I've had to create copy and paste functions to be able to use the machine and input information on clients. So it's become a relic. Well, when it deactivated today, I went looking for the lady who helped me and found out she died last November. So unless I want to pay another $12,000, $15,000 to get upgraded equipment and software, it's done with the machine. But this is how spirit works. A few months ago, I started getting into different study of magnet therapies and whatnot. And it took me down this rabbit hole, and I ended up studying biomagnetism therapy with Dr. Garcia. And I was super excited about it, but I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing before I started to offer it and even talk about it. And so, funny enough, now I'm totally comfortable. And the day I start sharing about it, my machine deactivates. But the same thing I did on the machine is the same things we go after and balance with biomagnetism. So that's weird, right? But Spirit already had it lined up. I don't need electricity to do the magnets. And how you test for it. No, the computer doesn't test for it through the harnesses and all of that the way that the machine did, which was way easier on me because it tested thousands of things in the body, organ systems, allergies, pathogens, viruses, parasites, bacteria, all those things. However, the biomagnetism training that I took, the doctor, they've been doing research since and using it since 1988. So it's been around for a long time. And a couple of people have asked me, like, why don't we hear about these therapies? Unless you're someone like me who totally goes natural, alternative therapies, you probably won't hear about it because the medical establishment wants to keep you medicated. They want to keep, it's a profit run business. Healthcare, especially Western allopathic medicine, it's profit. It's not about curing you. It's about treating your symptoms. Where my QXCI machine, it was always about what's the cause? Let's treat the cause. Some of you that have read my book know I've treated leukemia naturally. I've treated cancer naturally in my own body and was successful. Treated colic in my horses with my machine. And funny, when I started to get into the biomagnetism stuff, it started making sense and clicking because I'm like, yeah, we've been using magnets when I trained horses on the horses for horse therapy when they were injured. So if it works for that, why wouldn't it work for these other things going on in the body, right? As I studied and went through the training with the pathogens and the different dysfunctions in the body and how a virus is fed by bacteria and parasites. I'm like, yeah, I learned all of this when I trained on my machine. So it wasn't as hard, I think, for me because I've been doing this stuff for so long. But man, isn't it funny how spirit works? Because I didn't know the machine was going to deactivate it. I forgot about it deactivating in 2015. Totally forgot. And that's when I was treating colon cancer. So I had to reactivate it. Had to. I was in dire need of that thing. But now that lovely woman, she passed away. So I have no way of upgrading it. They want me to upgrade to an entirely new system, which I'm not willing to do. It's clunky. Let's see if I can show you guys. I have to take my camera off. See that computer, that laptop? That's the laptop that it runs on. It's not on the internet. It hasn't been on the internet ever. Like, it's solely dedicated to running my machine. And while I can get to one biofeedback program on that machine, there are hundreds of programs that I used to use to treat various things for people. And now I don't have it. But I mean, I haven't used it much because I've had great results doing Sarvatva healing, which is my modality, and now using the magnets to treat organ dysfunction. Super exciting. So I had shared in a post, my dad was getting treated today. I finally told him I finally made time, had time, and forced myself to make time because it takes a while. It's a good 90 minutes to work with him. And he's seen results that I've been getting with other people. So finally he was like, yeah, fine, put magnets on me. And we treated for all kinds of things. I tested him for over 300 things. Already had an idea of what direction I was going to go with bringing about help for him. He's in renal stage 3, stage 4. He kind of bounces between 3 and 4 renal failure. Now, last year, the doctors told him when he asked, because I had him ask, is there anything I can do to reverse the renal failure? And the doctor said nothing, right? And I was like, I don't believe that. I've never believed that, Dad. So I did my research and we changed his diet. We restricted some foods And we added some foods in, and he started juicing celery and doing all the things I had him do. We did a parasite cleanse with him. That was mild so that it wouldn't upset his stomach. He's on blood thinners, and he's on blood thinners because he has AFib. What's the other thing? Blood pressure meds. That's about all he's on, right? They've tried to put him on cholesterol meds. He won't do it. And I've told him not to do it. And one of the doctors that he had back in Seattle said, those things will kill you. Don't do it. So, but his cholesterol's fine. His numbers go up and down. So it's like you get a number of a high cholesterol, don't let them put you on medicine just because that stuff does have side effects. Go read them. In any case, so we started treating him today, and he's got a number of different issues. He's had a fungus in his toenail bed since Vietnam. Right, my dad's 81, been around for a bit. But one of the women that is a biomagnetism therapist here, I bought a set of magnets from her. And when I say magnets, this is what I'm talking about. They're not just like little magnets. They're big. They're heavy duty. They're heavy duty. Like these ones on the bottom are super hard to get apart. They're so strong. They're between 1,500 and 3,000 gauss. See, it's hard to pull them apart. In any case, I wanted to work on that, but that's not the number one concern. And yet, pay attention, his toenail fungus that killed, like literally, he lost one of his toenails from Vietnam. It's indicative of a virus and a pathogen still living in his body, a fungus living in his body somewhere, right? Nothing the doctors gave him ever helped. He was treated for parasitic infection out of Vietnam. They literally had to transfer him to a hospital during his tour in Vietnam because he got so very sick. They were walking through the rice paddies in icky water with snakes and all kind of stuff. And my dad got very ill, and he was hospitalized for a parasitic infection. Now, mind you, this is I was born in 66. This was back in 65. He was also exposed to Agent Orange. And I'll fill you guys in on a little secret there. But he's had a lot of stuff. And he's on veterans disability because of all this stuff. He's been diagnosed and has had chronic lymphocytic leukemia, same as what I had, but his has been holding steady for the last, he got diagnosed with that in 2014. So it's been a while. And we've held his numbers steady, right? They expected his numbers to go through the roof, his white blood cell count. And we've held it steady. The minute we found out, he cut out breads, he cut out pasta, he cut out sugar. I let him have it like 20% of the time after we got his numbers stabilized, but his numbers are holding steady. They aren't going up. His white blood cell count isn't going off the charts. The only time it has since 2014 is when he got some sort of a respiratory infection, which he got treated for antibiotics. In any case, started to run the protocol for him and do the scan. Like I said, the scan takes a while. You have to run through the body through muscle testing, specialized muscle testing, to see what exactly the body's going to allow you to clear and balance. And treated him for malaria. And I asked him, Dad, did they give you a malaria shot? And he goes, no, they gave us for Vietnam, right? How many years ago? Before I was born. And I'm going to be 56 in 2 weeks. 50 something years ago, they gave them malaria pills. Does that mean that he had malaria? No, but he had an attenuated virus in those pills to make him immune to malaria going into the jungle in Vietnam. Does it ever leave your body? It sits dormant until another pathogen, bacteria, or virus gets activated and combines and wakes up the malaria. You guys following me so far? When that started to happen, partially because of age, partially because his immune system has gone down, he's had cancer, which I'll talk about in a minute because we had a big breakthrough with that today. He's gone through a lot of stuff, but when the immune system lowers, it becomes opportunistic for parasites, bacteria, fungus, viruses, and the like. And then those things start to combine. If your body is acidic and not alkaline, your gut health, your blood is acidic, wherever those pathogens are hiding in your body, and they hide in different places, once they combine with the other elements, now you've got perfect ground for disease. And for him, kidneys. So his kidneys started to act up. CLL, chronic lymphocytic leukemia. It hasn't gone into his lymphs. He hasn't gotten any kind of blood infections, thankfully. But as we're treating it with magnets, like we're doing biomagnetic therapy, to see what happens, because he has another blood test on the 12th, I believe, and then he'll get the results back at the end of the month, similar to Epstein-Barr that lays. So interesting you bring up Epstein-Barr. I'll talk about that in a minute because I actually just have been treating someone for that. So we treated malaria, which you wouldn't think. The lady that I bought the magnets from said, you know what? I have this feeling intuitively, treat him for malaria. And without focusing on that, I just did the scan. And I mean, when I say scan, it's 12 pages, 300 and something items, like pairs that you're scanning. What does the body need? What does the body want? It's exhausting to do because you're doing muscle testing. In any case, went through all of it with him. And sure enough, the malaria pairs came up. So there's 10 pairs I placed just for the malaria virus. And then he had another bacteria that came up, and so malaria is bacteria, another virus that came up, and then a fungus that came up. But also what came up, which was interesting, was to treat his tonsil region. And that is another, I want to say it's bacteria. It might be fungal, not positive. My brain's really tired right now, so excuse me. But I treated it not knowing exactly what it was. I read it. It's like a scaries something, some sort of pathogen. And it was a little blip on my radar, right? My main concern was getting his kidneys supported. By the time we were done, he had probably 6 pairs, one on top of another, from his kidney to different organs, different places in his body, right? Kidney, bladder, kidney, like we had liver, we had kidney to pylorus, liver to pylorus, like all these areas. But the kidney, like literally, that was a point where it was starting. And I had like 6 magnets stacked up, one on top of another, going to different parts of his body. And he's like, I've got some weird sensations in my back. And I was like, just ride this out for a bit, right? Once all the magnets are on and you can start the timer, it's about 15, 20 minutes. For him, it was 20 minutes. Like I put him on for 20 minutes because he had some pain going on in his lower back. So I put magnets on for that too. He had edema. He's had edema in his right ankle that has just been constant. I did put magnets on that, just on that the other day, and it brought the swelling down immediately, 10 minutes. But today we did I wanted to do a full protocol on him. So we finished, and he's kind of asymptomatic with the renal failure. Like he doesn't have pain like a lot of people do. Carla, I know your husband has a lot of pain with it. He's pretty asymptomatic with it, thankfully. He goes to the bathroom a lot, but he's not in any pain, right? They just keep telling him your kidneys are failing. Your numbers are horrible. Your creatinine is crazy and blah, 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 blah. But we did bring the numbers down, and the doctor's like, well, that shouldn't have happened. And they've been saying that now for 6 months because his numbers have stabilized and gone backwards. So I'm curious to see what happens with his blood test, because then I'll have actual diagnostics that say, oh yeah, they work. I know that they do, but having that medical proof, I think is going to help a lot of people. Now, here's an interesting thing that happened. Took all the magnets off, was putting away my massage table, putting away all my padding and my pillows, and bringing all my stuff back up to my office. My dad comes running in and he's like, "You wouldn't believe what's going on." I said, "What's going on, Dad?" My dad had throat cancer in 2003 and he had radiation. He was allergic to the block. They give you the medicine to block it from killing the radiation, from killing his saliva glands and anything else. So he lost his saliva glands, virtually got burned during his radiation. It killed the cancer, but it killed my dad's saliva glands. So he constantly has to have water, and he uses I can't remember what it's called, but he uses these drop things that you put in your mouth, this mouth gel stuff, to help keep his mouth moist because he has no use of his saliva glands. Comes running in and he goes, "I have saliva. I have spit." Now, mind you, I've treated him on the machine for this to try and re-spark his saliva glands, but we haven't had any luck with it. Partially because there is a bacteria and a virus that actually dries your mucous membranes and the ability, like I asked him, I said, "Are your eyes dry too, Dad?" And he goes, "All the time." "Why didn't you ever tell me that?" He's like, "I didn't think it had anything to do with my saliva glands." There's a bacteria that does in fact dry saliva glands, nasal passages, and dry eyes. And that is one of the pairs that I was working on and placed on him today. So funny enough, had to do with that throat placement. He got saliva. He's like, "It's too soon to say, but if this keeps up, I don't have to carry a water bottle everywhere I go." I'm like, right. Yeah, that's exciting. So now, Anna, Epstein-Barr virus. Yeah, Epstein-Barr can stay dormant in your body, right? Until a bacteria or a fungus combines with it. And this is true of lots of viruses. When the virus and a bacteria combine, now you have trouble. I had a girl come to me for coaching, just coaching. And she was talking to me about her diagnosis with PMDD, which is premenopause, or what is it? They call it premenopausal dysfunction disorder. Well, part of the PMDD is anytime around your period once a month, you get massive depression, like massive, and irrational thoughts. It can lead to suicidal thoughts like crazy, right? All during the time of your cycle ramping up, during the time of your period, and then it just disappears, right? And invasive thoughts, mind circling. So I did a long distance session on her because the other day when I was talking to her, I was like, let me try biomagnetism therapy. It's worth a shot. Got nothing to lose, right? But I have a feeling that it has something to do with Epstein-Barr. I was like, "Have you ever had mono?" Because Epstein-Barr can come from mono. And she's like, "No, I didn't. But in high school, everyone around me did. I had strep, though, 4 times, and I was sick all the time." So what if you take strep and Epstein-Barr in the body? You lower the immune system, because this all started happening right after she got pregnant with her first daughter. It will create problems. So I ran a protocol on her and placed magnets for Epstein-Barr, strep, and various other things, working within the brain as well. There's a lot of placements for the brain that I placed. And lo and behold, woke up the next morning and the depression was gone. And that hasn't happened to her. And she's been to the doctor and they just put her on a low dose Zoloft. So I ran a second session today, a follow-up session, and went more after strep, but some other stuff came up. And one of them was an unknown virus that goes after the central nervous system, which goes in line with what I was feeling and thinking and seeing with the scan I did. So I have high hopes. And then I had another client contact me and we were talking. I was like, "You sound just like your symptoms sound very much like my other client who has PMDD." So she had never heard of it. And she goes, oh my God, because PMDD, with the virus that gets activated, it literally can cause psychosis, schizophrenia, things. Your brain just starts to go wonk. So to be able to help people with that, super exciting to me. And there was a therapist in, I believe, Florida. I sent something off to my friend Sonia, because there's a therapist in Florida that uh, a client with Ehlers-Danlos, which is not supposed to be something you can fix. And she's doing karate now. So like super excited about the breakthroughs in health and alternative healthcare right now. And being on the cutting edge of that just makes me so happy, right? So happy, because I really like, after COVID, and there's a whole protocol for that. You know, SARS-CoV-2 doesn't do much damage on its own, but you combine SARS-CoV-2 with people who've had the flu vaccine and it blows up and you have all the weird symptoms, and it attacks the medulla oblongata so that you can't breathe on your own. And then people have to be ventilated. There's a whole protocol on that. And it makes so much sense to me the way the doctor explained why people were having so many problems with it, why people were dying and why people weren't, what was going on in the body. So to have the protocol for that as well, to be able to help people with that and relieve the symptoms, you have no idea. Like it makes me so excited and so happy. And I'm glad that I've had 21 years with the machine, and I've had close to 30 years just treating my own stuff with alternative medicine, homeopathy, herbs, right? Natural medicine, because I believe that doctors have a place, like normal allopathic medicine has a place. You break something. I mean, I went to India, got the scar to prove it, right? When my disc blew out. But I started Pilates a couple weeks ago, which has been super intense. And I have a disc, it's like T6, T7, that the neurosurgeon in India told me when he did my neck surgery, they replaced 3 discs. One, like I was the first 3-disc replacement done in history of the world when I was in India. And he said, you've got one that is bulging and close to herniating. You're going to have problems with that. Well, that was in 2010. That was 12 years ago. And it really hasn't bothered me here and there, but doing Pilates, it's really been bothering me. So I put magnets on it right next to where that disc was hurting. And within 15 minutes, the pain went away. And I've been still going to Pilates. And not to say that the pain doesn't come back when I'm doing Pilates. It's actually, as soon as I get home, place some magnets on it and I'm good to go. So as my body's building back up, I feel like a lot of stuff is changing even in my own back. But to have that ability, I don't have to take Advil. I treated myself for some interesting placements for a virus and bacteria in my shoulder and neck region, because I've been getting headaches for the last couple of months every day. I was living on Advil. I literally always have a bottle of Advil on my desk because it's been that bad. And since I've been putting magnets on it, I haven't had to take Advil. I've been able to treat it immediately, place magnet pairs on, and then treating that virus. Funny enough, no headaches. So I've been fine. So yeah, do you guys have any questions? You guys were asking me a bunch of questions on that thread, and I'm like, I'm just going to answer in here on live, and then I don't have to keep typing. My fingers I'm tired. My arms are tired. My dad's legs weigh a lot. That's the one thing people are like, can I do biomagnetism? I'm like, you got to understand how the human body works. And when it comes to testing and scanning people, it takes some muscle power. Like my arms are sore from that hour and a half with my dad. Once the magnets were on, it was fine, but all the testing, you're like holding the feet up. I'm like, oh my God, so tired. But anyways, so exciting. It does work to clear emotions too. I was teaching my Charm Life class last night how to use magnets to clear heart walls and how to use them the magnetic therapies to rebalance the brain to a whole brain state. Very exciting. Like I'm combining so many things right now that's just taking healing to this whole other level, which makes me so happy. So yeah, I've added that on. I do both dogs, long distance and in person. I'm doing both, but I'm on a bit of a tight schedule because I have a lot of coaching clients, private coaching clients right now too, and then my classes. But I'm here to answer questions. So if you guys have questions, ask them now. Otherwise, I'm going to jump off and call it good. It's Friday. I have work to do this weekend. I have a client I'm working long distance tomorrow. Then I have a project I'm supposed to get done. And then my granddaughter's in a parade tomorrow night. So, yeah. And then I have an entire family that's coming to see me next week. And so I'll be gone Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I think I'm tapering off for the rest of the year because it's holiday time and my birthday. Oh, yeah. All right. I don't see any more questions, comments. You guys have any? Don't have any? Cool. Did you learn anything? Have you seen magnetic therapy to treat AFib or neuropathy? You can work with neuropathy. AFib, interesting, because there is magnet placement for an ability to test for blood clots, which is what AFib is, right? My dad has AFib. I didn't test him for blood clots because right now the primary concern with him is get his kidney function restored. So yes, there is. Not supposed to say the word treat, which is why I'm being very careful, right? It's not treating, supporting the body's balance and pH. But yes, you can place magnets, do magnetic pairs for heart, for blood clots, even, and here's the exciting part, Bella loves this, even for kidney stones, for pancreatitis, for, I wish I had known this before, for gallbladder and gallstones, because Brindy wouldn't have had to lose her gallbladder had we had this therapy back then. But that's been 10 years now, right? My brother-in-law had his pancreas removed. So I wish I had known this therapy then. Saved a lot of organs in my family, right? But going forward, this is a game changer. Bella, interestingly enough, so starting Pilates, and I've known this for a while. I broke my hip when I was 18. I got stepped on by my horse. And my left leg has been longer than my right leg by about half an inch. And you can tell because of the heels of all my shoes, right? The left heel always wears out first and it wears out different. Well, doing Pilates, you're putting your feet in straps and pushing tension cables. All of the weight seems to be pushing mainly on my left leg because it's that much longer. One of the things you can do with magnets, whether it's arms or leg length, is you can, rebalance it so that you don't have one leg or one arm off. So I did Bella last week and I only did her for her leg length discrepancy, like a longer leg. And she's had hip problems and her leg has always turned in since she was born. So I treated her just for her leg length. And then she called me an hour later. She was out shopping. She goes, "Mom, my hip hurts so bad." I was like, "Oh, shoot," because I just treated to make your legs go back to the same length. Well, then shrunk up because she's got hip restriction and mobility problems. I didn't treat the hip. So I need to go back now and handle the whole hip thing before we lengthen her leg back out so that she's not in pain. You were just diagnosed with AFib. The meds are tough. I know. My dad's on them. Hard to get into balance. Just spent 2 days in the hospital. Yeah. So when my dad first had his AFib go off, And it was just, he takes his blood pressure all the time. So it kept showing up and we had to go to the doctor and they put him on blood thinners. And the first, I want to say, and deal with it, Anna, but like the first 2 months as the body's getting used to being on the blood thinners, he was bruising and like these horrible looking splotchy purple. His whole arm one time was purple and we had to circle it with a pen and go to the ER and make sure that he wasn't, didn't have a bleeder going on. But the first couple of months, they said, on the blood thinners for AFib, your body does, it takes a while to adjust to it. And he hasn't had, he went into AFib maybe 2 months ago because one of his blood pressure medications stopped working. So his blood pressure cranked really high. And then the AFib alarm went off. So they adjusted his medication, they changed it. And now, funny enough, because I've always said, like, I think the blood pressure medicine that they had him on was messing with his kidneys. Funny enough, his blood pressure's leveled out and his kidneys seemed to not be as affected because the liver and kidneys are tied together as well as the lung and the liver. But that medicine is harsh. But beta blockers are brutal. They don't have him on beta blockers, I don't believe. They just have him on blood thinners. So, yeah. My hope is that we eventually get him off all of it. Like we get him off the blood pressure stuff. And that's been my hope. I mean, he's on a very low dose now because they got him on the right medication. Because after so many years on the one medication for his blood pressure, it stopped working. Literally stopped working. They kept upping the dose. And I think that's what caused his kidney issues, right? So they had to change the type of medication they were giving him. And the VA is cheap. They want to go with the cheapest medication. But they did switch him. And it seems like his blood pressure is doing better. But yeah, the first couple months on those blood thinners and stuff, it's harsh. It's harsh. I feel for you. But yes, I mean, look, we went at it systematically. We changed his diet, limited a whole lot. He lost close to 40 pounds between juicing and eating more plant-based and getting rid of bread. And he had a bad sweet tooth. He still does, but he doesn't indulge. I put him on Noom, so he logs his food every day. He walks every day, right? He does planks. My dad's 81 and he's still at it. And so, you know, it's always been my thing. Use your body's ability to heal, but you've got to treat your body right. What you put in is how your body's going to react. So, yeah. Anyhow, so if you're interested in learning more, you can look up biomagnetism. You can go to US Biomag, I think is the site, US Biomag, and learn more about biomagnetism. If you're interested in, and you're like, I don't want to learn it. It seems like a nightmare. And it was hard. Like, I'm not going to say it was easy. It was hard. But it was expensive. By the time all the supplies are bought, all the magnets, and the magnets are not cheap. They are literally close to $30 a pair, one single pair. Let me show you. I used every single one of my magnets, and I have a whole other set coming. Ow. Oh. This is almost $500. Yeah, almost $500 worth of magnets. This. So for those of you who are like, I'm just going to run out and get magnets and try to place them. This is almost $500 worth of magnets because they have to have a certain strength to them. You need to know where to place them. You can't just stick them on your body and hope for the best. You have to know what you're doing. In any case, all of these magnets, and let me see, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 44 magnets. All 44, I used every single pair today on my dad. I could have placed 3 more pairs. I used all 44 magnets on him. in one session. So for those of you that are like, I'm just going to go out and get magnets, it's not that simple. It really isn't. And you have to know what you're doing. But yeah, so you need a lot. And like I said, I have another set that the mail lost. It's been on its way to me for a few weeks, 2 weeks now. It's been stuck in Houston for a week for whatever reason. It's in Houston. Supposedly going to get the other set tomorrow. That one set of, what is it, 9 pairs cost me almost $200. 9 pairs. So 18 magnets, almost $200. So like I said, it's not cheap. Plus you have to have the rest of everything. And literally it's a big investment, but it's well worth it and will pay off just because I'm already in this business of healing. Found some biomagnetic practitioners. Yeah, there's some good ones in Florida. And they've gotten some really, there's one guy that I know specifically that's in Florida that has gotten really good results, and he's been doing it for a while. There are really good biomagnetism therapy people out there that are well trained. And if they've learned from the same place I did, awesome. He learned it. Dr. Garcia studied under the inventor of biomagnetism, which was Dr. Isaac Goyce, who I believe has passed on. But his son carried on the business because he invented it or discovered it in 1988 and just kept researching. And the research is ongoing, right? They went to Africa. Goyce and Dr. Garcia went to Africa to do some testing and research on malaria, and were able to successfully treat, I think, 5 out of the 6 people that they did the magnets on, and clear malaria. And they blood tested them. So there's ongoing research, but the research has been around for a long time, right? Over 30 years, this has been going on. Makes a lot of sense when you start to look at the body is magnetic. Your brain is magnetic. Your heart is magnetic. It's electrical, right? Our entire system is electrical. It's energy. Everything's energy. You start to balance the energies of the different organs and systems in your body. You neutralize the parasites, the pathogens, the viruses, the bacteria, and all of a sudden the body is balanced. The pH is balanced. And when there is not a hospitable environment for these viruses and pathogens to exist, they die, and then your body can heal. But you also have to be able to create a drainage system, and that's part of where we place the magnets too, is the best path of drainage. Whether it's the lymphs that need to drain, you set magnets to drain the lymphs. If it's through the liver, you set magnets to drain the liver out through into either the kidneys or straight into the urethra. Like, you're placing the magnets to assist in that as well. So like I said, someone had commented, I'm just going to go buy magnets. I'm like, you can't just go buy magnets, right? And hope that you know what you're doing. It's so much more complicated than that. But if you're wanting to research it and learn it, go do it. Invest your time, invest your money. It's expensive. It's well worth it if you put the time in, right? Like, I'm glad I did it, but given another 5 years, I don't know that my head could have wrapped it, because it was a lot. And just making those connections. And like I said, I had my machine, so I'm used to looking for the connections of how the body goes into disease and then how to reverse it. I've been doing that for 21 years. So it was, I think, a little easier on me than someone that has no experience. But if you've been in the healing arts, or, there's a lot of doctors that are changing to use biomagnetism. And Dr. Garcia switched his entire practice to using biomagnetism because he was tired of prescribing medication and people weren't getting better. But with the magnets, they were. So it speaks volumes about where our system needs to go. And the more people, I think, that can find out about it and try it, the better, right? I'm all about healing, but healing holistically, body, mind, spirit, all of it, all of it. It is very complicated. Need to find a trained practitioner. Yeah. And if you go to that site, I think I gave you the link for, and click on therapist, and then it'll say what state. You can look in Florida, because like I said, there is someone in Florida. I sent Sonia a video of the practitioner. There's a practitioner that's been doing it for a long time in Florida, and he has great results. So, yep. I think there's a few practitioners in Florida. So yeah, go for it. Super excited for you. Anyways, so that's what I've been up to and why I've been missing for so long on live. I've had so much going on. And the big hurdle, one of the big hurdles, two of the big hurdles are over. Now I just got to get through the end of the year because I've got so many people. And after next weekend, when that family comes, after I'm done with them, I've just got my normal one-on-one clients, my classes, and then I think I'm going to cruise the rest of the year. That's where I found the Florida practitioners. Good. Yay. Awesome. I'm very curious. Stay in touch with me. Let me know once you have a session or 2 or 3, depending on how much is needed, because it's not going to clear in one session. Let me know what your results are. I love that. I'm glad that I could spark that conversation too. That gave you like another alternative. Same with Carla, because her husband's going through renal dysfunction as well. And I think it's good to talk about these things and know that there's options. You don't have to do traditional Western medicine and just be prescribed drugs and feel like crap. Just saying. That's why I never did chemo and radiation, because I knew it would kill me. And here I am still, cancer-free. Yeah. All right, you guys. I love you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful month. If I don't come back live, I will try to. No guarantees. Like I said, my schedule's very well booked up. I hate pharma drugs. Me too. Yeah. I mean, there are some things that are necessary, right? Like they cut my thyroid when they did my surgery. So I have to take thyroid, but I take the Armor, which took 3 doctors. 3 doctors. I had to go to 3 different doctors before I found one that was more holistic, that was willing to prescribe Armor, because the doctors don't want to prescribe the natural desiccated thyroid. But I pushed it with them. Mind you, this was 10 years ago. I pushed it. I was like, no, I'm not taking synthetic thyroid. So they're like, well, we can't treat you. We don't prescribe the natural. Why? It's prescribed. They didn't want to. No, there's a shortage. No, there's this. No, there's that. I pushed through. 3 doctors later, found a doctor. And now, when I set up my new doctor here, same with Washington, I called first, and I had to call many doctors to make sure that they would prescribe the Armor. And I wasn't going to see someone who wasn't. So it's like, you guys don't get to give me drugs. Like, I'm going to stay as natural as I possibly can. So it is what it is. But I don't like the drugs either, Missy. And when I had my surgery, when I had my hysterectomy in 2019, I did not want to take the pain meds. I thought, I can rough it through. That was a mistake, because I got behind the pain and I had to catch up. That was the only time I took pain meds. And then it was horrific. That surgery was bad. They won't discuss it with you. They're really crappy about that. Really bad. But you have to be your own health advocate. It's your life, it's your body, and it's your responsibility to make decisions for yourself, right? And you can't, like my dad, it's taken him so long, but now he makes me either talk to his doctors or go with him to his appointments to ask them questions. They give me the dirtiest look. What do you do for work? I'm like, I'm a life coach. Right? They don't want to hear, because I don't want to even get into what I do. And I was like, what difference does it make what I do? Well, you sound like you kind of know. I said, yeah, I know a thing or two. I said, I'm not a doctor. Right? And they're very resistant into answering my questions. But then my dad redirects them and says, you need to talk to her. She understands this stuff where I don't. So they do end up having to talk to me. And then I make suggestions based on what they try to do with him. And they don't like it. We've had a couple doctors, young ones, women who are way more open, Asians, funny enough, who are way more open about doing it more holistic and natural. But man, some of these guys, they're like, no, just shut you right down. They just don't even want to just take the medication. My dad's like, you can prescribe it. I'm not filling it and I'm not taking it. You know, they're shocked. Whenever my dad sees a new physician with the VA, they are shocked at 81. He's only on 2 medications. He's only on the blood pressure and the blood thinners. They've tried to put him on a whole lot of stuff. My dad takes 2 medications. And that's almost unheard of in the VA at 81. But that's because he's willing to listen and he's willing to do what I have him do, even when it's painful to him, like fast juice fasting and stuff like that. He'll do it. He'll change his diet. So, you know, if an 81-year-old who is stubborn as hell can take responsibility for his own health and have faith and work it through, and he's holding steady. I mean, my dad is building stuff. He's always doing stuff. Like, he's in good shape. If you look at him, you wouldn't think he was 81. You would think he's in his 60s. He's in good shape. And I attribute a lot of that to the fact that, you know, we use a lot of alternative therapies and they work. So it's worth a try, right? Anyhow. All right. So message me if you need anything, whether it's on an emotional level, mental level, you've got blocks, or you are experiencing some stuff on a physical level and you would like some assistance to stabilize your body and take more of a proactive stance in reclaiming your health. Okay? Go ahead and message me. I'm here. That's what I'm here for. I love you guys. I hope you have a happy holidays. If I don't see you before then, I may not. But we'll keep putting up videos. And if you guys have anything that you want to learn about, hear about, all you got to do is message the page and we'll put it on our list. I've done so many videos throughout the years. We've got like probably 800 videos to pull from. And Mandy can find them, whatever topic, and then we'll put up clips. But we just need to know what you guys want to know. Okay? All right. Have a good one.